Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to a post on, I guess this is about money. It's called the Matthew Principle. Everybody knows that those who have more tend to get more. But what if this market result is a product of a mind-numbingly simple algorithm? Let's call this algorithm the Matthew Principle. Investors who follow this principle exclusively invest according to the following rules. Things that have gone up tend to go up more and deserve more investment, so buy more. Things that haven't gone up don't deserve more investment, so don't buy more. This algorithm would exacerbate the choices made by investors who make decisions based on analysis of companies' balance sheets or potential. It would also leave a door open to short-term traders who obsessively buy the dip with the knowledge that those who invest according to the Matthew Principle never sell anything, so there is no risk that the market will go down. It will only go up less fast. So if you click on the blog post, you'll see a picture of the S&P 500. It shows the crash in 99 and the crash in 2008, and then where we are today, which is almost twice as high in terms of the index. And right now it is January 2020, and if I'm going to be a fortune teller, I think it's going to go up even further before it drops in Trump's second term, when it becomes apparent that change is a-comin' in the form of an unstoppable Sanders-Warren ticket. I think they will run, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it looks like Buttigieg this year, and I think he will lose because his name looks really bad on paper, and that there will be some sort of engineered crisis that maintains the present administration. I don't think Sanders and Warren will be unstoppable until they can't keep this game going. So that's just my uninformed gut feeling about things. I am not particularly talented with money. What I do know are just basic things like a rising tide lifts all ships, and when expansionary monetary policy is the norm, it is harder to lose money than it is to make money. And if you invested based on the Matthew Principle, you have been able to make a lot of money. In terms of gambling theory, this sort of investment strategy involves holding investments that are not growing in value while adding to investments that are growing in value. It can be modeled and automated as a simple Markov process, and it really doesn't take a genius to figure it out. In fact, if you make the concept more complicated, you're probably doing it wrong. My guess is that most hedge funds and retirement funds blindly apply this principle to some degree, but the ones that are aware of what they are doing and aware of why it works probably spend some time building up smoke and mirrors to hide their secret trick from the dumb copycats. Some hedge funds that have a reputation for solving the market may have done no such thing. They might have just been diligent about applying investment strategies in accordance with the Matthew Principle, amplifying the upswings and riding out the downswings. The rest of us chumps just follow the upswings without the amplification that they get, and we absorb the brunt of the downswings. This is the drawback of expansionary monetary policy, wealth inequality, such that today we have rich baby boomers and poor millennials, and you get disgusting results like, baby boomers able to purchase the services of millennials with the internet. It cheapens them, and that's sad, and there will be eventually some blowback from that. Trying to solve the market with Fourier or wavelet analysis and predict what it will do based on past performance is something that some hedge funds do, but for most people who think that they are cleverer than everyone else, this is a losing strategy. When politicians and economists are always trying to counteract the forces of nature and history by adjusting monetary policy. In essence, modern monetary policy allows economists to exercise more power than nature, up to a point. The economy is powered by people, phosphate, and oil, after all. The good news in this story is that those who have invested according to the Matthew principle and gained as the tide rose, they tend to lose big when the tide goes out, restoring a bit of economic equality. Their strategy tells them to hold all of their investments, waiting for the tide to rise again. But when the tide goes out, it may stay out for a long while. Nature is a cruel mistress, and their great wealth may prove to be nothing more than an illusion. Without people, phosphate, and oil to power machines, you own nothing. It is hard to go through life with the belief that you are better and smarter than everyone else and then have that illusion washed away. So it may be nice to be not one of those guys when such a tidal change occurs. ETFs, or exchange-traded funds, have made it easier for your everyday Joe to feel like he's playing this game with the big boys. In this way, he will feel like it was all his fault when all of his money disappears. While ETFs allow people to blindly buy and sell quasi-diversified things in bulk, and this will help them ride out a rising tide. When the tide goes out, ETFs complicate matters. When the tide goes out of a bay, the water may form a crest as you approach the neck of the bay, where the currents can be quite strong. When there are many large, unwieldy cargo ships full of ETFs that are all trying to get over the peak of the wave at the bottleneck, collisions will occur. It may be hard to tell who will come out on top, as ships sink and cargo containers full of ETFs float around everywhere. What is the value of that cargo container? Is it full of diamonds or full of companies that have closed their doors? Is it worth trying to fish it out of the sea and reorganize it? This was something that happened in 2008 with the housing market. If this happens, you may find that your retirement portfolio is a lot smaller than anticipated, and decide that early retirement was not a good idea. Under such conditions, people who actually work at doing things people actually need may make gains in comparison to those who live off of a passive income or who, have served a broken system. I do think about this sometimes since I decided to be a housewife. It is sort of a temporary retirement, but it is also an opportunity to invest energy in family members and in the skills and products that I can produce independently, rather than in useless products I have been trained to produce. I was trained to be a physicist, and a lot of that's useless. When I see aspirational parents pushing their kids to learn how to destroy the competition and become the best robot programmers ever, I think you don't want to be on the tail end of that trend. Bubbles burst in employment markets just as in other types of markets, and that is why it is smarter to teach your kids to be self-sufficient jacks of all trades. Don't teach them to hyper-specialize. That is a recipe for disaster in a post-bottleneck economy. In recent years, I've been curiously following the grain markets, and I've watched how, despite terrible weather, the prices have remained low because of politics. The last year that had weather similar to 2019 was 1973, and 1974 was a bit better in terms of dryness in Australia and wetness in the US, but the markets didn't react until 1974. This shows me that they can be rather sticky. And I have a plot in the blog showing the El Niño index and grain price and how they tend to track one another. At the same time, the number of countries worldwide experiencing civil unrest has spiked. This makes me wonder about a few things. Are politicians preserving the illusion of abundance for the sake of sky-high markets? Are illusions required to please the sorts of political donors who have grown rich on the back of the Matthew Principle? Are the illusions kept up for the baby boomers who look at the numbers in their retirement portfolios and vote to continue to squeeze the millennials with student loans? Are they keeping these markets sky high to make sure that all of the fools are fully invested when it comes crashing down? Is this an equalizing mechanism that punishes the greedy and those who can afford to risk their money on a bet? Is the power afforded by money just an illusion when the rich can't agree on what they want? Is the love afforded by money just an illusion when the money only attracts those who want money? Is money worth anything when you are surrounded by homelessness, ignorance, and decay? I don't think there is anyone to blame for this situation, anyone in particular. It is a natural product of these systems we've chosen. Rich people are just victims of their greed for a sense of specialness and power, while poor people are victims of their disconnection from people with money. Are we not all growing poorer as the internet replaces real connection with the illusion of connection? This is the question that inspired me to write my novels, and I encourage you to take a look at them. They helped me grow in my understanding, and I think they could do that for you too. They're also a lot of fun. So, thank you for watching. Until next time.